Welcome to Smack This, the unofficial Godsmack podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things Godsmack. This is episode 11. We're going to talk about the Oracle album. But this week in Godsmack news, while I was celebrating episode 10 last week, the band was celebrating something else as well. Uh, they posted it on social media that they are celebrating 75 million views of the video Under Your Scars, which is absolutely fantastic. I love the video. I love that song. Yeah, check it out if you've never seen it before. It's really good. It's so good, in fact. There we go. And yeah, so they were celebrating that. They also announced that the show this Saturday in Boston, this Saturday. So if you ain't got your tickets, get your tickets. And the Vegas show in September, that they have an opening act. The band is called The Otherwise. I've checked them out a little bit. They sound really cool. Cool new band. They're going to be opening act. So check them out when you get to those shows. Other than that, that's about it as far as Godsmack news. Um, so let's talk about the timeline. Timeline is a little long, so bear with me. As we left off in episode 10, they released the Greatest Hits album, 10 Years of Godsmack, Good Times, Bad Times. They sorta, kinda, almost promoted it in 2008, playing a total of 8 shows. They basically were on vacation. In fact, Tony, Robbie, and Shannon formed a side project called Another Animal, and they actually recorded an album. And I'll do track by track in future episodes ahead, and or down the line, I should say. Also, during that time, Sully was writing and recording a solo album called The Avalon. And again, further down the line, I'll go track by track and talk about that album. Then in 2009, the band regrouped, got back together to start writing the Oracle album. Now, they put it on pause for a little bit because they got invited to do Crew Fest 2. And if you don't know what Crew Fest was, Motley Crue, the band Motley Crue, put together a festival tour in 2008, and it was such a huge success. In fact, they made a DVD of it. It's really good. If you've never seen that, check that out. And then they did Crew Fest 2 in 2009 and invited Godsmack to be part of this. Check out these bands that were part of this. Charm City Devil, Theory of a Dead Man, which is a cool band. Drowning Pool, Godsmack, and of course the headliner was Motley Crue. Now they also went into the studio and recorded a song, a single, to help promote while they were on Crew Fest 2, a song called Whiskey Hangover, which I'll talk about later in this episode. Now, the tour itself kind of had some problems, to say. Neither band has really said exactly what happened. Just kind of get a little interview here and a little bit of an interview there about what happened. Neither band is, like I said, really came out and said exactly what happened. But I was reading some interviews yesterday while putting this episode together from Sully and Shannon. Both of them said that there was a lot of rock star ego trips backstage with Motley. Sully even said that there was talk about Godsmack outstaging Motley Crue when they were even asked to bring the bells and whistles and the double drums, which means the pyro and the fire, and they had said, yeah, let's give them more bang for the buck, which Motley also uses a bunch of fire and pyro as well. Um, then Shannon, in an interview, said security got really tight, especially when Godsmack would bring family and friends out on the road with them to visit them, um, especially when Motley was going around the halls. They didn't want to be bothered and this kind of stuff. So yeah, like I said, you don't really know what happened. Just kind of bits and pieces. Um, the Sully still kind of almost takes a shot at Nikki Sixx, a Motley Crue, during the COVID thing. Like I've said before, Sully did a podcast of his own called Hometown Sessions. He did a Q&A, and somebody asked him about a star tattoo. He had a star tattoo kind of right here on his cheek. And he said, yeah, once I saw another rock star when I was on tour have one, I decided to get mine removed. And that's kind of a shot to Nikki. Nikki has a star tattoo at the exact same spot. So yeah. So, like I said, they kind of take shot at one another. Nikki, when they were promoting the Oracle, wouldn't let him in the studio because he had a radio show of his own, Sixth Sense. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of back and forth. Don't really know exactly what was going on, but like bits and pieces, like I said. So after the Crewfest 2 tour, they went into the studio and recorded the album at Serenity Studios in Hollywood, California. So they went back to the same city when they did the 4 album. They did change co-producers, so that was Sully and a guy by the name of Dave Fortman as producer. Dave is an interesting guy. He's actually the guitar player for the band Ugly Kid Joe, which is one of Shannon's old bands that he was in. So Shannon was the one to introduce Dave and Sully, and they just clicked. Dave also produced other bands, Evanescence, Mudvayne, Simple Plan, and Slipknot, and of course Godsmack. The album was released May the 4th, 2010. There's actually 2 different versions of this album. There's the standard version, and then there's the deluxe version, which I got the deluxe version. I mean, I couldn't say no to that. Which actually comes with a CD, there we go, and a DVD. And it's also got some bonus tracks on it as well. We'll talk about those bonus tracks when I go track by track. It says they released 4 singles. They're Counting Whiskey Hangover, which is actually one of the bonus songs, and like I said, they recorded it for Crewfest 2. But if you really want to get technical about it, they only released 3 singles off this album. Crying Like a Bee and Love, Hate, Sex, and Pain, and Saints and Sinners. Crying Like a Bee was the only one to get a video. Let's see, what else? It debuted at number 1, so it's the 3rd number 1 album. So you got Faceless, 4, and now the Oracle. It sold 500,000 copies, so it's certified gold in the United States. It's the first album, and I thought this was really interesting. It's the first album that's credited as Godsmack wrote all the songs. Usually, if you look at their albums, it usually says writer Sully, or writer Sully and Tony, or writers Sully and Robbie, or writers Sully, Tony, and Robbie. There's even a song on the first album that says Tommy Stewart. I think it's Bad Religion, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and then, like I said, in episode 9, there's 3 songs on Godsmack 4 that's written by all 4 members of the band. So they all kind of collectively said, okay, let's say it's all written by Godsmack. The original title of the album was going to be called Saint and Sinners. Um, when Sully was doing some research, he found out there's actually a 1982 album by Whitesnake called Saint and Sinners. There's a bunch of other bands, artists, Spanish musicians have albums called Saint and Sinners. So he decided to change it once they wrote the song The Oracle. And they changed it from there. Okay, so that's the facts and the timeline for this. So let's go track by track. The first song is Crying Like a Bitch, and it's a great way to start the album, I think. I think it's a great opening song. It has this kind of crunching intro in it. Dun 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 thing in it, and it is so good. It's the cymbal, the guitar, both guitars, and the bass all sound the same. It just really has this real crunch to it. It's really good. Then it kicks in with this great groove. The chorus is very catchy. Has some guitar distortion. Sorry, saw my notes. Has some guitar distortion in it. Like I said, it's a great song. It's a great opening song for an album. They play this song a lot on tour. I think it's fantastic. Now, there's a lot of questions about this song because who did they write this song about? So when it was originally released, there were rumors, all kinds of rumors. I remember in music magazines saying it and hearing it on the radio and stuff like that. That the song is actually written about Nikki Sixx. A couple of years ago, maybe just a year ago, Shannon has said no, it's actually about quarterback Philip Rivers, who used to be the quarterback for the San Diego Chargers. And I could see that too, being a football fan and Tennessee Titan fan, as a matter of fact. When they would play the San Diego Chargers, he would whine and cry over on the sideline. So I can kind of see it. But when I hear this song, I think of somebody trying to tell you what to do, squash your dreams. If you have a goal, they're the ones that say, no, you can't do that. And yeah, that's what I hear when I hear this song. You tell me what you think. All right, so track number 2 is Saint and Sinners. It's got a fantastic bass intro by Robbie. The guitar kind of fades in. Then you get this yeah thing that's a classic Sully word, singing word. And then it just kicks in. It's got great lyrics, great chorus, great guitar playing by Tony. It's a really good song. I really like this song a lot. Track number 3 is War and Peace. It's got this great guitar intro. Then Sully says, here we go, and the song kicks in. It's got a great groove. The singing's great. There's a part in it that kind of sounds like the news, somebody talking during a report. In the background, it's kind of low, but you can still kind of hear it. And then there's a sudden stop point in the song. It just kind of stops for like, I don't know, 2-3 seconds, and then it comes right back in. It's really good. It's really different. The news part of the song kind of reminds me of the song Mistakes off the Awake album, which has that in it, which is towards the end of that song, but this is kind of in the middle. Alright, track number 4 is Love, Hate, Sex, Pain. This song is just fantastic. I love this song. It's so good. It's got a great guitar intro. Um, I love this song. The lyrics are so good. The way he sings it's really good. The way they play it is great. It's almost I'd almost put this kind of a Alice in Chains kind of song. Um, I've said it before that meaning Sully was inspired by Alice in Chains while he was getting ready for this band, putting together Godsmack, meaning. And yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. At the end, it's almost got this creepy piano playing in it at the end. It's really good. It's a nice part of the song. Uh, kind of don't want the song to end when you get really into it. Song number 5, or track 5, is What If? And it has a different kind of eerie sound at the beginning, and then another bass intro from Robbie. Then there's some moaning guitars in it. Then it just kind of builds up, and then there's some bongos. You can kind of hear that in the song. The singing's great. Starts off kind of slow and then kind of builds up. So here's your little roller coaster song. They do that back and forth during the song. There's the middle break in it that has a bass and guitar sound in it, and then it builds back up. It's a really good song. I like it a lot. I like those roller coaster songs that they do. Keeps you on your toes. You kind of just move with the song. Um, Track number 6 is Devil Swing. Now this one has a drum intro from Shannon, and then it just kicks in. It is so good. It's a very different song from what they've done. It's almost kind of a swing band kind of jazz thing going on. It's really good. It's very interesting. Um, the groove is fantastic. The way Sully sings it, it's almost really fast. It's almost kind of sounds like a drum beat the way he's singing it. It's really good. Great guitar solo from Tony. Like I said, it's so different from what they've ever done. Kind of like what they did with the 4 album. They kind of pushed themselves in a different direction too. Yeah, I really like this song a lot. Devil Swing, so check it out. Track number 7 is Good Day to Die. It's got a good guitar intro, has a great groove in it. The singing's great. Great guitar solo by Tony again, who I think really shines on this album a lot. Again, kind of like what I did with Robbie. I don't think Tony gets a lot of credit where credit's due, because I'm going to say it. This is how I feel about Tony. I think he's the shy one in the band, but his guitar playing is fantastic, spot on. But yeah, and then it's got some great drumming towards the end from Shannon. It's a good song. Track number 8 is Forever Shamed. This starts off pretty fast. It just starts off with pure singing as soon as that track starts. Then it rocks. Then it stops with a guitar riff. Then back in. It does that a couple of times in the song, so it kind of starts and stops and starts and stops. Tony's guitar solo again, it's fantastic in it. It's different from what they've done. Like I said, it kind of starts and stops and starts and stops, and yeah, it keeps you on your edge on it. Track number 9 is Shadow of a Soul. Starts off with the drumming and guitar really low. It's really low, and then it just kind of, the volume, that's what it sounds like. The volume slowly turns up as the song goes along. The lyrics are great. Again, another great guitar solo. It's a good song. It's not really one of my favorites off the album, but it's a good song. And then track number 10 is the title track of the album, The Oracle, and it's an instrumental. So here's your instrumental on the album. Um, it starts off with some guitar chords, like guitar licks, and then there's some um, Tony playing over top of it, kind of like a lead kind of thing. Not really a solo, it just kind of interweaves with the other soloist guitar playing on it. Then the drum and bass kicks in, and then it just rocks, and then it slows down, and then there's some speaking spots in it. Then it goes right back up, and then it goes really fast, and then there's a Tony guitar solo in it, and then, sorry, there's again my notes, and then there's some more like newscast talking thing in it, and then another guitar solo from Tony. Then it kind of fades out back to that guitar lick that you hear at the beginning, and then that just totally fades out the song. Um, it's a good song. It's a great instrumental. Is it my favorite? No, I would probably put it at number 3 as far as their instrumentals go. Uh, so yeah, it's a good song. I like it. It's fun to hear. Um, Now I'm gonna go to the bonus songs on it. So if you got the deluxe, this is the bonus tracks. Um, Track number 11 is Whiskey Hangover. Um, it just starts off rocking. It's got a really great groove in it. The lyrics and the singing are great, even though Sully doesn't like the song lyrics of this. He said, I read an interview where he said he felt rushed to write this song, so he just kind of wrote whatever came to mind. Um, but I think it's great. I think it's a great song. Catchy chorus, you know. Track 12 is I Blame You. It just rocks right off the bat. It's a really good song. It's got great groove in it, and the singing's fantastic. Check that song out, I Blame You. It's really good. It's so good. And then we're going to go to track 13, and that's The Departed. Um, Now, except for like Forever Shamed or Devil Swing or Love, Hate, Sex, Pain, those 3 songs kind of take you off to a different place. Although they still rock. The other songs on the album are really hard rock. Um, this song, The Departed, is way different. Yeah, just check this out. Okay, so here's some of my notes on it. There's a eerie feel, and then there's some bass starts in, some bongos, then there's some singing. It's got a great groove in it. In fact, it's got a special guest. Again, it's Lisa Geyer, who was on Godsmack 4 album during the Hollow songs. She's on Sully's 2 solo albums and solo band. She's back in this and singing background vocals to this song. It's very tribal. I would almost not really voodoo. I would say more like Sparrow or a little bit of Serenity kind of feel to it. It's got some great acoustic guitar in it at the end of the chorus, and then it just kind of fades out. The song is actually on this album, but it's also on Sully's solo album, Avalon. I'll have to, when I do Sully's solo album, Avalon, I'm going to listen to these songs separately and see if there's any difference. From what I could hear the first time I heard it yesterday, I couldn't tell. But yeah, we'll see. Alright, so that's the CD part. So now we're going to talk about the DVD. So if you get the, like I said, if you get the deluxe version, you get a DVD that comes with it as well. It's called The Making of the Oracle. Now, when I got this, I was super excited. I could not wait to watch this because, sorry, scratching, uh, because I was thinking it was going to be like um, Aerosmith's The Making of Pump or Metallica's Year and a Half, where they were recording the Black Album, or some kind of Monster where they were recording Saint Anger. I was kind of expecting that, kind of seeing how the songs get put together, or actually get to see them in the studio. So when I watched this, uh, I was really disappointed in it. Maybe I put it up to a higher standard than what it is. I'm not. I'm trying to look at the good side of it. You know, it is them in the studio, but it's just, I don't know. It's only like 30 minutes long, so that part bothered me a lot. Um, so it was. Let me get to it. So it was directed by Troy Smith. It starts off with some guitar playing, and it kind of introduces the band members one by one as they fade in, and then it shows them recording War and Peace, although it doesn't show the whole song. It's like a clip. Then there's a funny part. Sully has a fart app on his phone that he's playing with. Um, then it shows him recording Love, Hate, Sex, Pain. Again, it's another clip. It's not the whole song. Um, there's a part where Sully talks about how they recorded the album, which I did think is very interesting. Um, Usually, bands go in and they record all the drum parts, and then the drummer leaves. Then they record all the bass parts, and then Robbie leaves. And then Tony puts all the guitar parts on and the guitar solo, and then he's gone. And then Sully sings and puts his parts on, and then he's mixing the album, and he's like the only one left in the studio. Uh, so with this album, they decided to record a song a day. So when they would record it, they would only record one song, maybe one, maybe 2 days. Um, and it was also interesting from Shannon. He said that he's more of a night owl, so he would record his parts at night while the other guys were in bed asleep, and then Tony would come in the morning and play the guitar parts over it. Then Robbie and Sully would come in the afternoon and record their parts. So everybody kind of got to be in on it at the same time. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see, what else? Then after that part, it shows them recording again a clip of The Devil's Swing. Then it shows them recording the Oracle. Sorry, my allergies. Shows them recording the Oracle again. It's another clip. Then it shows there's another funny part where Shannon's recording the drum tracks, and Sully says, "Well, that's great, but it's scratched. We're going to have to scratch it because you're wearing an Oakland Raiders t-shirt, and that's Shannon's favorite football team, and Sully's is the New England Patriots." So they kind of got that banter going back and forth. Then it shows Robbie talking about Dave Fortman and how they met, and some funny things with Dave. Then it shows him crying like a bitch, and again, it's another clip. Some more funny parts in the studio. Then it shows him recording Forever Shamed. Again, it's another clip. It's not really the whole song. Then it just starts with the credits, and then there's some more in studio funny stuff happening. And then it really ends with Sully and Shannon sitting on a couch in the studio, and Shannon's eating a banana and talks about hate being filmed while eating a banana, every guy's worst nightmare. So you get the gist of that. And that's how the DVD ends. Like I said, I was expecting a whole lot more, especially more in 30 minutes. I mean, come on. But, it is what it is. Um, Now, I'm going to go a little extra on you. I discovered this a few years ago. Um, there's actually something on YouTube. You can YouTube it. I'm gonna put it on my playlist so you can play or listen or watch it. Easy for me to say. You can watch it on my playlist. Um, it's called The Making of Godsmack 5. It was called Godsmack TV. That it was aired, and somebody has uploaded them up on YouTube. And this is what I was expecting. So it's directed by Daniel Cautel, who did Changes, who DVD, who also did the acoustic uh, DVD on 10 Years of Godsmack, Good Times, Bad Times. He's part of this as well. He's directed this with Sully. Um, yeah, like I said, it's called The Making of Godsmack 5. Um, it's really good. It's fantastic. There's only 8 episodes, so don't get turned off on 8 episodes because they're like 5 minutes. Some of them are 8 minutes long. It's really kind of short and sweet, but this is what I was expecting to see on the DVD. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff in the studio, them joking around. There's a cookie war between Dave and Sully. There's shows how the songs were put together, how they were recorded, where the songs came up with, how they came up with the songs. Yeah, it's really good. It's really worth the watch. Um, yeah, it goes from the beginning to the end. And what I mean is episode 8 is the final touches part where it shows them recording the video for Crying Like a Bee and the photo shoot for the album and magazines and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's really good. I really love it. I think it's so good. Um, that's what I was expecting on the DVD. Um, Maybe if they would have put all that plus what's on the DVD, it probably would have been a whole lot better for me as a fan. Um, Now, I mentioned this in episode 1. So, episode 8 of The Making of Godsmack 5. He talks about there's not really getting along. There's something wrong with Tony and a little bit of Shannon. There's kind of something going on. You could tell it during the photo shoot. And then Sully says, well, this might be the last Godsmack album. Luckily it wasn't. They put out 2 more albums and a live album since that. But yeah, and Sully said the same thing, like I said in episode 1 at the Tampa show. This might be the last Godsmack album. In the interview part of The Making of Godsmack 5, he says, we might have to talk and see where things are. And like I said, luckily it wasn't. So that's what I'm kind of hoping, that it's just kind of talk, and the key word is maybe. So there you go. So anyway, there's that. The Oracle album, deluxe version. Now I'm going to go with worst song first. Worst song I'm going to say is Shadow of a Soul. Yeah, that song doesn't really do anything for me. Still doesn't now, 12 years later. Best song or songs, I'm going to go with Saints and Sinners, What If, Devil Swing, Forever Shame, and one of the bonus songs I'm going to pick is I Blame You. I really like that a lot. Rate it 1 out of 10. I'm actually going to give it a 9 this time. It's not that it's a bad album. It's an album that I can listen to all the way through, but then there's parts of it feels like it's almost repetitive, especially like the new news part talking thing in some of the songs, or a couple of the songs, I should say. So yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 9. Um, Homework this week. I want to hear from you guys. Drop me a line, comment. What's the best song or songs? What's the worst song or songs? Rate it 1 out of 10. What do you think? Episode 12 is next week, and I'm actually going to take a break from the discography. Uh, I'm going to talk about the Boston show, which is this Saturday. So if you're going to the Boston show, let me know. Write me a comment. Take pictures. Film the whole show. uh, yeah, so that's next week. I'm going to talk about the show, the Boston show, and the song list and all that good stuff. So I'm really excited. I can't wait for Saturday night. I'm going to be glued to my phone and see what happens. So that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, tell your friends about this podcast. If they like talking about Godsmack, hearing about Godsmack, send them this way. Tell them to type in "Smack This," the Unofficial, and it'll pop up, or give them the link. Uh, you know, they can Google, YouTube, just "Smack This," the Unofficial, and it'll pop up. So let's get this ball going. Let's keep it going. Until next week, I will see you guys next Thursday. And you just got Godsmacked.